Hello, Mr. Oppenheimer. We hope you're doing well. I'm here with Tony today. We're going to be talking about the Colonial pipeline cyberattack. And it's going to be sort of like a podcast or dialogue, basically.
Yeah.
And we hope you like it, sir.
Hey Omar, did you see the news about the Colonial pipeline cyberattack? It has been like almost 4 years since then, and that entire situation was quite serious.
Yes, I did see it actually. It was the incident where hackers effectively distributed the fuel distribution in the American East Coast, right?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was in May 2021 when a ransomware group called DarkSide infiltrated the Colonial pipeline's IT systems, and they basically stole the VPN credentials from an employee.
That's concerning. And the problem was that the VPN account didn't have MFA multi-factor authentication, which is a very major problem. So once the hackers got the password, they were able to hack into everything related to the Colonial pipeline.
Right, and because of that, they were also able to access the system like very easily. Once inside, they just deployed the ransomware. They encrypted the files and basically they locked the Colonial pipeline out of their own system.
And I believe that forced the company to shut down operations so they don't allow the attack to spread further. I've actually seen some footage of this online on people filling plastic bags with fuel.
Yeah, and it was a huge mess. And there was a lot of people panicking, thinking they wouldn't be able to get gas for weeks, which led to shortages in some areas. Also, the prices of gas skyrocketed because of that issue. And also, there were some very huge issues with the airlines where they couldn't find enough gas to use the planes. So they had to delay a lot of flights because of fuel lack.
Don't you find it interesting how one cyber attack had such widespread consequences? Like the supply chain is so interconnected due to globalization that when something like that happened, not only the US or the American East Coast basically was affected, but almost like so many countries in the world as well.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, Colonial Pipeline ended up paying the ransom. Like it was actually $4.4 million in Bitcoin to DarkSide in exchange for a decryption key. But even after that, the restoring operations took quite a while because the cyber attack was so complex.
Yeah, I understand, but that's the thing though. Paying the ransom doesn't necessarily mean everything goes back to normal immediately. There are problems. Sometimes decryption keys, which they eventually got after paying the ransom, don't even work properly. Sometimes it's a scam. Companies are left with scrambles, basically nothing. They can't do anything. They need to fix the damage manually.
Right, and this also raises like a huge ethical question too, because if companies pay the ransom, that I think that's gonna like keep wanting the hackers to keep hacking and then get ransoms out of the companies.
That's exactly correct. I mean, you're basically fueling, in such a situation, you're basically fueling a criminal business model, but at the same time, companies feel like they have to choose, they have a choice. If you're responsible, I mean, for delivering something to the public in general, fuel millions of people, millions of dollars, millions of money, you can't afford to wait a week or months, or how long it lasted, trying to recover your systems. You know, you need to take the risk, you need to pay the ransom, you need to find a solution.
And that's also why the ransomware in general is so effective nowadays. And the pressure to act quickly like forces the companies to do impossible decisions. As for example, the Colonial pipeline that paid 4.4 million. And DarkSide, the group behind this attack, actually operated like a business. They even had like a customer service that basically contacted the Colonial pipeline for the ransom payments.
That's the craziest part though. It wasn't just like random hackers. It was like they had an actual structure, like a corporation sort of. But after they gained significant attention after the Colonial pipeline cyber attack, they completely vanished. They disappeared. They shut down so that they can avoid law enforcement tracking.
Yeah, and I doubt that they just stopped hacking altogether, because they likely rebranded or joined other Cyberattack group. But these organizations don't actually vanish; they evolve throughout the years.
That's a lot. Like the government definitely didn't take the tax lightly. Like the FBI and the Department of Justice as well, they got involved and even managed to recover some of the money. I believe it was $2.3 million. But then again, it's still an attack. It's still affecting the companies. You don't really just care about the money in the situation. You really care about tracking down the main source.
Yeah, and that was actually pretty impressive, because it's rare for authorities to recover the ransomware, like the money lost by the ransomware, because in the transactions, for example, it's anonymous, obviously, because if not, they would know the identity of the hackers.
Yeah, but the real question here is what exactly did companies learn from this incident, learn from this attack?
Actually, I think quite a few, because most importantly, some critical like infrastructure companies realize that they need more, like three main things: some better, stronger cybersecurity measures, multi-factor authentication, of course, better network segmentation, and maybe also some improved incident like response plans.
I believe the government also got involved, right? The TSA. I think now they need like a specific process. They process with companies to report after incidents and cyber attacks to improve security protocols.
Yeah, and I think there's been a much bigger push for like zero trust security models. So instead of assuming that anyone inside a network is trustworthy, this zero trust requires like a verification, for like every user, and for them to get the granted access.
Honestly, that sounds like a much more effective approach in my opinion. I mean, the idea of just blindly trusting internal users seems extremely outdated, especially with how sophisticated it's becoming now, how sophisticated the cyber attacks are becoming.
Yeah,
in our time.
Exactly, and that's not like just about the external threats. It's also about the internal. For example, these hackers sometimes can get the credentials about like in this case in the Colonial pipeline, they could get the information about an employee and just hack things to it.
But this makes me wonder, like, do you think a similar attack could happen? A similar attack to this could happen in the future again?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening throughout history, and ransomware attacks have been like rising recently, and hackers are constantly like adapting their systems to hack higher and better defenses. But hopefully, we will like get a better awareness and stronger security throughout the years, and companies will be hopefully better prepared to prevent such incidents.
Yeah, I mean, I strongly agree with you. Even with stronger security, the criminals and the hackers seem to always find ways to hack and do what they do. So it's sort of like an arms race between the companies or cybersecurity against actual hackers and against such individuals.
Yeah, and that's like a good way to put it, because even the stakes are getting higher. The higher, of course, the higher the not popularity, but the higher the, let's say, the quality of the company. Like for example, Tesla, it's gonna have a way higher security than lower ones like, I don't know, Aldi, for example.
Fair enough, this is which is why companies and governments need to stay ahead of the curve. It's not just about preventing the attacks, but also about having some solid structures, solid plans in place to respond when something else happens, not only cyber, or like not only a colonial pipeline cyber attack, but other attacks as well.
Yeah, and so you're right in this matter. So because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of there's like if the it's not a matter of fact if there's another attack. It's a matter of when it's gonna happen, because of course there's gonna be more.
Honestly, let's just hope companies are learning from their past mistakes. The last thing we need right now is another criminal cyber attack. Disrupting essential resources, just like how the Colonial pipeline cyber attack did. And this can affect the fuel sources, the food sources, and the power, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, sir. We hope you enjoyed it. And have a good rest of your evening.
Yep.